Hello and welcome to Superpower Broadcasting. I'm Kevin Castley. Oh, there we go. I'm Kevin Castley. Right, almost forgot my mic. That's annoying. So yeah, we're gonna get into this one. This one's gonna be a bit more of a, less analytical or whatever type stream than we usually do here. We're just gonna be dunking on Hasan, Guantanamo Bay, Piker, and Jagmeet Singh. I haven't come up with a nickname for him yet. Rather not even think about him, but here we are. So the other day, Guantanamo Bay tweeted out that basically he was just going to be going live with Jagmeet Singh. By the way, Jagmeet Singh, okay, he sounds like an edgy communist chapo bro from your local college or university, right? That's the kind of guy. Those are the kinds of vibes that we get from him. He's simped Fidel Castro, for example, literally. But okay, I am seeing some comments in the chat, and I do want to get to these quickly. Dr. Zayas is here. He asks, "Who the heck is Jagmeet?" So Jagmeet is the leader of the New Democratic Party of Canada, which is the third largest political party in Canada. So he's not the equivalent of the leader of the Republican Party, but he'd basically be like, imagine America had three big parties with two huge parties and another party that's been the opposition but never been in power before. That's the NDP. They were, for a short time, the second biggest party in Canada in terms of their occupancy of the House of Commons. Our parliament, but now it's the Liberals and the Conservatives, and they're number three again. But there was a short time when it was actually Conservatives, then NDP, then Liberals. Now the NDPs or I should say now the Liberals are the ruling party again. And you might say, well, isn't Justin Trudeau a simp for communists and stuff? I mean, obviously his dad was like a fan of Cuba and everything, communist Cuba. Yes, but I want you to imagine all the stereotypes and all the memes and every tidbit of cringy info that you know about Justin Trudeau. I want you now to imagine that blended with Chapo Trap House, blended with the Young Turks, blended with Hasan Piker, and now you have Jagmeet Singh, literally. And he's the leader of the NDP. He's not just some quirky, random head or delegate or something, or some random MP from some who knows where riding. No. This is Jagmeet Singh. He's literally the leader of the third biggest party in Canada right now, and I want to be clear about something. We all talk about how the Liberal Party of Canada. I mean, I gotta talk whenever I bring on my friend Wyatt, for example. We talk about how, we're not really fans of Justin Trudeau's government. The NDP makes Justin Trudeau look like a Republican. Literally. I mean, the NDP is so far out there. But again, with Jagmeet Singh, it's not even that he's the leader of just some random third or I say third party in the American context. In Canada, the third party can actually win because we have a 5+ party system here. No. He's actually the head of the third biggest, sometimes second biggest party in Canada. And he's playing video games with Hasan Piker. Now, who's Hasan Piker? Hopefully, well, unhopefully, because we don't like this guy. You don't really want to know about him. But hopefully you guys are aware who Hasan Piker is if you've been watching the stream and everything. He is Cenk Uyghur's nephew. I know, right? Absolute cringe. Anyway, Cenk Uyghur is the fan of bestiality. He's Mr. 6%. I also have another nickname for him that I literally can't even repeat on this stream right now because of the stuff that he said that he basically supports doing to horses. So I know, right? Yikes. And by the way, he's doubled down on that for about 12 years on the public record. I know, right? Embarrassing. But Hasan Piker has said things, and in particular, one series of statements that makes Cenk's bestiality defense comments look totally tame. just totally unoffensive, just completely normal. And that is that Hasan Piker literally said, and I'm not making this up, he actually said that he believes that America deserved 9/11. I know, right? So the head of the New Democratic Party of Canada, the third biggest party here, the party that, you know, in the early 2010s actually formed the official opposition, had a chance potentially at forming government. Like, he's not just some nobody. There is a conceivable chance that at some point in the next 20 years, Jagmeet Singh could actually become the Prime Minister of Canada if the Liberals and Conservatives just really screw up. It's possible. It's possible. And he's playing video games with a guy who believes that America deserved 9/11 and who said of Mr. Dan Crenshaw, whom we talked about recently on the stream on this channel, we covered how he was going after losers like Jack Posobiec and Cassandra Fairbanks. He said, Hasan Piker said of Mr. Dan Crenshaw, that he's glad that a, quote, brave Mujahideen soldier, quote, effed his eye out. And he repeated that like 6 or 7 times. You can literally look this up. You can verify this. You can fact check this. These guys are both, like, he's on the record. He's saying this. He's on the record as saying this. And the Young Turks, they didn't even fire him over that. You got to think, like, that's the biggest firing offense in the history of the world. Like, you're going to be working for a media company, and you say America deserved 9/11, and the media company is in America. Like, I mean, I would get it if they were in Russia or something. They'd be like, yeah. Like, yo, yeah, you own the Americans. Let's simp for Putin, right? No. Young Turks is based in America. They didn't fire him over that. Wyatt points out, no, you know what Cenk actually wound up firing him over? There was talk that there might be a union, and Guantanamo Bay was hyped on that, and Cenk fired him over that. Now, that's funny because, you know, and I get it, you know, I'm not really a big fan of unions and stuff myself, but I'm not out there woke scolding Walmart and all these other companies for not allowing unions. Jay Guger is, yet he doesn't allow unions in his own company. So either you're against unions in every company or you're for unions in every company. Again, this just goes back to the hypocrisy that we're dealing with these goofballs. But Jagmeet Singh, no, it wasn't that Hasan reached out to him and Jagmeet said, oh, sure, and he didn't know anything about Hasan or whatever. He just looked at his sub number and was like, oh, this guy's got a few 100,000 subs. That'd be cool. He's like a celebrity. I'll play video games with him. No. He's the one who asked Hasan if he was in to play Among Us. So he asked a 9/11 supporter if he wanted to play video games with him. This guy is the third most prominent, you know, he's the leader of the third most prominent party in Canada right now. And we're not talking about America, where you say the third most prominent might be the Libertarians and they have like 1%. No. We're in like a multi-party system in Canada. The NDP is actually a political force. They actually have a chance at winning. You know, now it's small. It's never happened, but there was a time when it was close to happening. And that wasn't that long ago. And it could happen again in the future. And we have Aaron O'Toole representing the Conservatives. He's weak. He's feckless. So he might drop the ball. And we have Justin Trudeau representing the Liberals. And he's got 3 scandals already under his belt. It is not outside the bounds of reason that Jagmeet Singh could actually become Prime Minister one day. And yet he's a simp of Fidel Castro. He said of the Castro regime that it was impressive and that they need credit for the literacy rates. He literally did the meme. That's a meme that we talk about on this channel from time to time. It's like you'll have like the most brutal dictatorship out there, and you'll have some simp say, "Oh yeah, but like they had like kids learn how to like read the Communist Manifesto, bro." as if that's somehow supposed to be impressive. Like Reese talks about this. It's like, what do you think they boosted the literacy rates for? You think they did that because they wanted people to be smarter and better capable of critical thinking? No. They taught them to read so that they could shove their propaganda, their communist propaganda down their throat. You don't get credit for that. These guys are simpletons. These guys are dumb. This guy's the leader of a major political party in Canada. That's embarrassing. Like, full disclosure, when I was like 14, 15, 16, I actually supported the NDP when I was like in early high school and stuff. I actually volunteered for them for a brief time. That was during basically the era, right, the latter period of Jack Layton, when he was the leader of the NDP. Jack Layton, I have a lot of disagreements with Jack Layton, but Jack Layton was not this tier. Jack Layton was not to this level of dirtbag left, right? That was a long time ago. Obviously, I don't support the NDP anymore or anything. But I mean, they were socialists and stuff back then, but they were at least somewhat more classy under Jack Layton. Under Jagmeet Singh, it's basically Chapo Trap House. It's basically the most vile, raunchy subreddit socialist here that you can think of. It's basically left tube, bread tube. That's the NDP now. And again, I'm not saying that it's like they were never like hardcore leftists and everything. They were always hardcore leftists, always socialists, right? But they've actually managed to outdo themselves a lot with Jagmeet Singh. The guy's a total clown. Guy's a total clown. We are going to take a look at an article, or rather an opinion piece that was published in the National Telegraph today by, supporter and friend of the channel, personal friend of mine, Wyatt Claypool. His brother, Austin Claypool, wrote a piece in the National Telegraph. So we're going to take a look at that article and then we'll discuss. So I think that, again, I think that it's just, at the end of the day, it's substantially disappointing that you can actually be more to the left than Justin Trudeau, and a lot more. I mean, this makes the Liberal government look totally normal. And we were talking about just the other day how they bungled about $50 billion. And if you're in America, that's the equivalent of about $500 billion in less than a year. That was just over budgeted. They just went over budget by that amount. And you're like, how? That's insane. Yeah. So we will screen share over to the article or the opinion piece, but I want to take a look at the chat first. Hungary Country Ball says, American Indo-Japanese alliance to counter China. Yes, absolutely. I've been talking about that for a long time. Long time. I'm very critical of the outsourcing and all that kind of stuff, but I said before, when it comes to non-essential stuff, I don't care if you outsource over to India. India is a democratic ally. India is fighting communism and Pakistan and terrorism. They are our natural ally. We should be doing business with them. I mean, if you're going to send the job outside the country anyway, you might as well do it to a country that we get along with, that we like. India is a natural ally. India shares our commitment to democracy. India shares our commitment to fighting terrorism. India shares our commitment to fighting communism. They've suffered casualties just this year from the communist Chinese shooting them along their border. They've suffered thousands of casualties over the years from the Pakistani terrorists and the ISI. They bombed the Mumbai urban area, I believe, back in 2008, very prominently, for example. And of course, they aim at India. They aim at our friends in India. They aim about 200 nuclear weapons. The communist Chinese have about 300. India, in contrast, only has about 200. So they're ganged up on right now. And they could use our support. Maximus is here. He says, yo, how's it going, Maximus? Hungary Country Ball says, the NDP is the left-wing party. that makes liberals look good. Oh, that is 100% true. I was just talking about that. That is 100% accurate. Yeah. Like everything that you think is bad about the liberals, you haven't seen nothing yet. Check out the NDP. They make the liberal government of Trudeau look like Republicans. I'm not even making that up. So Hungry Country Ball says, though the NDP in Alberta is actually kind of based. Wyatt says, Jagmeet is a weird hipster who somehow became a party leader and only ever campaigns for his own personal popularity among people in their 20s. Yeah, it's kind of like a Bernie thing. Like, let's just court the one demographic that votes at the lowest rate possible. I never understood that idea. Like, if I was going to be a politician, I don't want to be a politician. I used to want to be a politician when I was younger. It used to appeal to me. Now I want to do independent media and eventually, mainstream media and independent media, because we have to change the political culture, and the media is more important than any one particular politician. And the thing is, if I was going to be a politician, you know who I would spend most of my effort trying to appeal to? People over 65. And even if I was a socialist, even if I was somebody like Jack Layton, I'd still devote most of my effort to trying to sway like 65 and over people to socialism, rather than court a bunch of young 20-year-old socialists, because they don't even vote. At least if you get a few 65-year-old boomers or whatever to become socialists, they're going to vote. That they're actually going to show up. Like if Bernie Sanders directed all of his effort at trying to win over older people, I don't think many older people would have taken the bait, but he would have had more success in the primaries than trying to court a bunch of young people that are incredibly unreliable. Because even though fewer older people are going to be dumb enough to fall for your lines, the ones who do will vote. They'll actually show up. So like, even if you're a socialist, you're better off trying to get older people on your side, even 1/10 as many older people on your side, than trying to court a base that doesn't even vote. So it's like, did you vote? It's like, no, screw the system or whatever, that kind of stuff. So, we're going to continue with the chat. Oh, yeah, Hungary Country Ball notes, also NDP went to 4th under Jagmeet. Yeah, that's true. Bloc Québécois came in 3rd. The thing is, though, the Bloc Québécois does not have the national capability that the NDP does. So when I talk about them as the 3rd, in terms of their chances of forming government, the Bloc Québécois is never going to become like a minority or even a majority government, because they only really have appeal in Quebec. The NDP wins seats throughout Canada. They win seats in British Columbia. They win seats in Nova Scotia. They win seats in Quebec. They win seats in Alberta. The Bloc Québécois, they're not winning seats in British Columbia or Nova Scotia. So, that's what I'm talking about. You're really capped. You need well over, like it's over 150 seats basically to form government. Quebec doesn't have anywhere close to that much. So the Bloc Québécois doesn't actually have a chance. So even if they have more seats than the NDP is still more viable in terms of the chances of forming the government in the future than the Bloc Québécois is. So Wyatt says, the Green Party is now less radical than the NDP, because at the very least, the Green Party has a Jewish leader who doesn't kowtow to terrorists. Jagmeet is a Khalistani extremist supporter. Jagmeet is not allowed to go to India, notes Wyatt. Jagmeet is also an Air India bombing truther who pretends to not know Khalistanis blew up the plane. Yeah. This guy's a bundle of yikes, for sure, but we will get into the opinion piece. Maximus says, imagine being forced to study the works of Marx and Lenin. No, I can imagine it. Like, what are you going to do? You're an innocent victim of communism. Here's the real imagine. Imagine celebrating that as boosting literacy rates. That they had their hostages, they taught their hostages how to read so that they could shove them propaganda down their throats. Jagmeet Singh said of the communist regime in Cuba that it was great that they boosted the literacy rates. He did the meme. He literally did the meme. That's what they all do. That's what Bernie did. They all do that. They all fall in love with Cuba. Vosh, who always tries to distance himself from the more tanky folks on the left, always tries to say, oh no, I'm not a supporter of the Soviet Union. Don't you pigeonhole me into like being like a Soviet supporter and all this stuff. Ever ask him about Cuba? Like, I'm serious because he said on stream a couple times, Cuba's different. If I'm ever in a debate with him or whatever, I'm just going to bring that up and be like, okay, so you say you're not a tanky, you get into debates with tankies and stuff. How is Cuba different? How is Cuba different? Oh, Castro didn't kill as many people as Stalin? Yeah, that's because Cuba has fewer people than the Soviet Union. But it's Vosh, so has he thought that through? Yeah, NATO better than the UN, absolutely. Yeah, Zaya says, young people don't vote and they're disloyal. Bernie bro today, Nazbol tomorrow. Well, some Nazbol support Bernie, so. Nicholas says, Bernie's faceplate is what happens when you base your politics off Twitter. Faceplant, I believe, is what he meant to say. Yes, faceplant. Yeah, General Shepard is here, and he notes, being more radical than any Green Party is scary. And yeah, that accurately describes Jagmeet Singh's New Democratic Party of Canada. Unironically, like 100% legit, that's actually true. That's actually true. That's amazing. So let's get into the actual piece in the National Telegraph. So here we go. Jagmeet Singh joining communist streamer who said, quote, America deserved 9/11. November 26, 2020. Federal NDP leader, and this is Austin Claypool, right? Austin Claypool wrote this. So, Jagmeet Singh joining communist streamer who said, quote, America deserved 9/11, unquote. Federal NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is one of the most recent examples of left-wing politicians to embrace streaming video games online to shore up their popularity. Oh, and I will say the good thing about this piece is that unlike last night, where every 5 seconds, every 2 sentences, I had to literally stop reading through just to debunk the implicit narratives and biases and all that, and hidden nuggets of cringe that were in the Daily Beast piece, their hit piece against Mike Morrell. I don't have to do that tonight because this is the National Telegraph. So let's continue. It's refreshing. It's refreshing to just read, publications that are more or less on our side when it comes to this kind of stuff. On Wednesday night, Singh invited his fans to join him playing the viral multiplayer game Among Us on the streaming platform Twitch. Singh also invited popular communist Twitch streamer Hasan Piker. And there you go. You got the tweets there. Jagmeet Singh says, I'm in. At Hasan the Hun. You in? So you see right there. I will stop it, but I'm not going to be stopping this for the same reasons I was stopping the Daily Beast. This is the National Telegraph. I like the National Telegraph. And nothing thus far has been problematic like the Daily Beast was. But I do want to stop it because I want to just buttress the point that I was making earlier. Jagmeet reached out to Hasan. He knows what he's doing. It's not just Hasan randomly invited him and he's like, who's this guy? Oh, he's got 300,000 subs or whatever. That's cool. Let's play Among Us with him. And then you find out later, like, dude, that guy's a communist. That guy said this stuff about that. No, there's no way he doesn't know. He knows what he was doing. He knows who Hasan Piker is. He ats him. He knows, dude. He knows. He's hyped to play Among Us with a 9/11 supporter. It'd be cringe enough if he was playing Among Us with a 9/11 truther like Jesse Ventura or Ron Paul. But even those guys, for all their apologetics and all their cringy conspiracy theories, those guys at least don't like that 9/11 happened. I disagree with them on a ton of stuff, but at least Ron Paul and Jesse Ventura, though they're deluded and misguided, at least they're angry about 9/11. No. 9/11 truther, a 9/11 supporter. That's like an Onion article. That this actually happened. This guy's the leader of the third most viable party at the moment in Canada. And again, it's not like the Libertarian Party in America. It's a multi-party system. Could actually have a chance of being prime minister one day. He would make Justin Trudeau look like Ronald Reagan or something in comparison. That's how cringy this guy is. Let's resume with the article. Hasan, of course, Guantanamo Bay. Why do I call him Guantanamo Bay? Well, my friend Dragon came up with the nickname Guantanamo Bay because Guantanamo Bay calls himself Woke Bay, which is goofy. That's like Reset. That's like a nickname that we would make up to make fun of him. But he gave himself that nickname to sound like he's woke and cool and hip and everything. He's Woke Bay. Like woke before anyone else. No. Dragon's right. He's Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo before anyone else. Like let's just give him a one-way trip to Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. He's such a simp for Cuba, right? So technically it's American administered territory on the island of Cuba. Hasan says, can't wait. We're going to have some special guests as well. Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific. I'm going to be playing Among Us with some dope Canadians. Yeah, dope. Yeah, I don't really think I would use the term dope to describe Jagmeet. More like cringe. So continuing with Austin's commentary, Piker is notorious for his politically charged rants. In 2019, he received an immense amount of blowback after making comments that, quote, America deserved 9/11, unquote. Yeah, literally. He actually said that. He actually said that. Like, I know most of us are familiar with the clips and everything, but like, imagine living in America and actually saying that. And not getting fired from the Young Turks. He got fired over union talk, not over that. You know what his excuse was, by the way? You know what Hasan's excuse was? We also played that clip. You know what his excuse was? He went on there and Cenk's like, dude, like, come on. You didn't actually mean that, did you? And Hasan's like, well, like, me, like, English was my second language, bro. And he looked all upset to be there and angry to be there and frustrated to be there. Like, oh, I got better things to do, man. And all this kind of stuff. He looked like he was in detention. And then Cenk presses him on it again. And mind you, Cenk's cringe. But even Cenk isn't a 9/11 supporter. And Cenk asks him, he's like, okay, but like, can you just clarify what you meant? Like, you didn't actually mean that like those 3,000 Americans deserve to die. And Hasan's like, he's like, no, I don't think like those 3,000 Americans deserve to die, but like America, the country, deserved it. And I'm just thinking like, dude, who the hell do you think makes up America? Like, duh, the people of America. What do you mean? The country deserved it, but the people did. What the hell is that even supposed to mean? What does that even mean? Like, there were literally Muslims that died in that attack too. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, we'll continue with the article. But by the way, before I do, really, second language? That's your excuse? He's doing all like the Gucci swag and all the Urban Dictionary inside jokes and stuff. He obviously knows English. Nobody believes that. Even if simps don't believe that. Jagmeet doesn't believe that. Nobody believes, oh, maybe English was my second language. So that's why it came through. He doubled down. He tripled down. He went on to say, well, I'm in America, not Americans. It's like, yeah, who do you think lives in America? Dumbass. Anyway, never mind the stuff that he said about Dan Crenshaw. Like, the guy is just, he is a cavalcade of the most seditious comments possible. And he's a communist who streams video games on Twitch, but simps North Korea and communist Cuba, both countries where you can't even access Twitch. It's banned. In North Korea, you'll get shot. In Cuba, you'll probably go to jail. But he has 300,000 simps in the West that like to watch him play video games and talk about how much he loves communism and how like North Korea is the victim, bro, and communist Cuba is better than America. As he's playing like Fortnite and Among Us, games that you can't even play in North Korea. Hungary Country Ball says some of them at least. I think Lithuania's has actually formed a coalition with national conservatives. Oh, that's in response to why it's saying European Green parties are oddly conservative. They tend to push for environmental policy through tax cuts and incentives. Well, that's not a bad way of going about it. You know, not a bad way of going about it. Better than like the Green New Deal AOC aspect where you just take trillions of dollars a year in subsidies and stuff that you can't in any way conceivably afford. And then your excuse is, well, we'll just defund the military, as if that would even pay for it. Dr. Zayas is just like, yeah, that kills me. That still kills him. The English as a second language defense. And it wasn't even like he was earnest about it. Like he was just like, yeah, me like English was my second language, dog. It's like, dude, at least try to sell it. If you're going to give that crappy of an excuse, at least try to sell it. At least try to sound in some way remorseful. Not like you're just angry and frustrated to be there because you want to get back to playing Fortnite and simping Joseph Stalin on Twitch. Yeah, and Nicholas basically has the quote right there. That's basically what Hasan said, and then he's like, English is my second language. So we'll get back to the piece. I did send Wyatt an invite. He can't make it tonight, though. So but that's all right. He can join the stream another day. I stream every day. So let's continue. Piker also went on to disparage American troops and attack Dan Crenshaw, mocking him for the loss of his eye. Yeah. So, like, the only way that he's able to play Twitch or to play video games on Twitch is because people like Dan Crenshaw risk life and limb and eye for our freedoms. And that's how he shows his gratitude. And like, I'm not going to repeat the quote. You guys can look up what he said. It was vile. It was grotesque. It went on and on and on. It was like a minute of him talking about, quote, a mujahideen soldier doing perverse things to his eye socket. By the way, for such a Soviet simp, you'd think that Hasan would not be a fan of the Mujahideen. By the way, the Taliban is not the Mujahideen. Another note. Like, isn't a Soviet fanboy supposed to be against the Mujahideen? Oh, but he's dumb and anything to own America, I guess, right? Yeah, Nicholas rightly notes, yeah, Piker comes off as if English is his only language. That's right, because I think Turkish is like his native language, but he never speaks Turkish. He gives off every vibe of like a communist frat bro who knows all the idioms in English and makes up his own slang. He makes up his own slang. And then he means to tell us that English as a second language is his excuse. Oh, yeah. And he said maybe. He said maybe. Wow. Let's get back to the opinion piece. Piker at the time went on his uncle's media network, The Young Turks, where he worked at the time, to apologize, where he proceeded to not apologize and make up lame excuses for his actions, like that English is not his first language, despite having never shown to have had any problems speaking perfect, naturally or neutrally accented English in the past. Yeah. So Austin Claypool here in the piece points that out. Like none of us are buying English as his second language is the reason why he said America deserved 9/11 and then doubled down and tripled down on it. And by the way, what about all the stuff he said about Dan Crenshaw? That might be, okay, I was going to say might be the worst excuse ever. No, Ian Stevens saying that he couldn't debate me for 3 weeks because he needed his school computer. And he tweeted that over his iPhone. That was the worst excuse ever. This is probably second. So let's get back to the piece. The situation raises a number of questions. Of all the left-wing personalities online, why would someone as prominent as Jagmeet Singh choose to share the spotlight with someone as controversial as Hasan Piker? Moreover, well, that's a good question. That's a good question. I have an answer, I think. I have an answer, and you know, we can get into that after the piece. Moreover, why have so many left-wing politicians turned to gimmicks like live streaming video games to try and obtain social relevance? Yeah, especially communists, where like they all get banned in communist systems. The transformation of a public servant to celebrity has always been present in politics, from Trudeau mania in the 1970s to late-night star-in-chief Barack Obama. There have always been politicians who have ascended their office to achieve a higher level of personal fame. Typically, though, capturing the public's fascination to this extent is reserved for presidents and prime ministers, not freshman members of the legislature and opposition party leaders. Doesn't Singh have better things to do than play video games online while the Canadian economy continues to lag? Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. We talked about the other day how the CURB program in Canada has overshot by about 300%. Is initially allocated to be about $21 billion. Now it's close to about $80 billion. It's over $50 billion. Just, you know, they went over. They went over. That's about $500 billion equivalent if you live in America. That's most of the U.S. military budget, for reference sake. That's the kind of money we're talking about here. That's at stake. And Jagmeet Singh, he's playing among us with Guantanamo Bay. No, this guy, I'll tell you this. He ever gets close to becoming Prime Minister of Canada, we're going to be streaming about that a lot. Like, I'm not letting that go. I'm not letting his terrorist apologetics, his Cuba apologetics, his hanging out with Hasan Piker. No, like, most of the videos that we do on this channel focus on America and world affairs and everything. But Jagmeet Singh is totally disgusting and reprehensible. And, you know, I'll do everything in my limited power here to change people's minds and stuff and wake people up so that hopefully that guy never becomes prime minister. So let's get back to the opinion piece. Singh follows in the footsteps of other left-wing politicians like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar. Live streaming games comes across as an attempt to appear more relatable to younger audiences. It is, in a way, the more technologically savvy equivalent of Hillary Clinton making awkward comments about Pokemon Go. Yep, that's the, well, you see, how can we have a Pokemon Go to the polls? Yeah, that was super cringe. And hot sauce. Or Elizabeth Warren uncomfortably cracking a beer on a live stream. And then you see the aggressive gremlin right there. That was pure cringe. I actually watched that. That was the most awkward and robotic and unnatural, artificial, superficial, see-through, transparent, obvious attempt at somehow flattering and pandering to average Joes, I guess. It was pure cringe. This is a figure in Elizabeth Warren who literally drafted a bill to the Senate saying that America should ban first use of nuclear weapons. In other words, you can only use nuclear weapons after your cities are nuked. That's pure cringe. Yeah. Yeah, Mia 666 here on Twitch. Pure cringe. Absolutely. Absolutely. This guy feels me. So yeah. Let's get back to the opinion piece by Hasan Claypool. At the very least, those other examples of desperate pandering to seem just like what they think their audience didn't evolve pandering with a vulgar anti-American communist. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. All those other cases are corny, they're cringy, they're awkward, but like the beer bottle is not a 9/11 apologist. Saying Pokemon Go to the polls is not saying you support 9/11. Now Jagmeet didn't say that, but he does hang out and chill and play video games with a guy who does. So, like, okay, imagine I found out like one of my friends supports 9/11. They wouldn't be my friend anymore. Like, what? We're gonna hang out? Like, yo, bro, want to hang out? It's like, dude, no. What are you talking about, dude? Get the hell out of here. Yeah. So let's get back to the piece. The NDP under Singh have been in a popularity freefall as the party loses touch with its traditional base of union workers and increasingly focuses on younger university-age voters, as if destroying the party so Singh can feel hip and cool was a good trade to sacrifice the NDP's electoral success for. Well, that's true. It's true. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of good. I mean, I don't want this guy anywhere near power, so he gets to be a stupid little Twitch celebrity. Great. I'd rather him be that than prime minister. Singh's appeal, much like Justin Trudeau's, is a matter of style over substance. Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Spot on. Neither are known amongst their supporters for their accomplishments and principles. Yeah, what are their accomplishments? Oh, yeah, Justin Trudeau. Well, hey, man, my dad was prime minister, and, like, he simped Castro, and I simped Castro, so elect me prime minister. Also, I was a substitute drama teacher. It's like, okay, that actually worked. That's amazing. Singh's, let's see. Trudeau and Singh welcome and actively encourage celebratory coverage of their fashion sense and attractiveness. Seems Trudeau, at least somewhat, has a clue and can occasionally remember to run his party once in a while. Singh's time as leader has felt increasingly like an attempt for him to become a celebrity, as if he knows the NDP is going nowhere under him. Well, maybe they would go somewhere if you weren't so focused on upping your Twitch metrics. How about that? In order for someone to make it in politics, they need to have ideas and a vision for the future that speaks to their constituents. When their ideas can't convince their audience, they pivot to their charisma. If even that fails, it's a good idea, apparently, to Singh to ride on the coattails of a privileged internet communist like Hasan, Guantanamo Bay, Piker. That's Austin Claypool right there. Just taking a look at the responses. Some dude, James, said, so many mischaracterizations in this, quote, article, unquote. Actually, it is an opinion piece at the top. So, like, not technically an article. Austin never claimed it to be an article, but okay, big brain boy, James. Let's show us how smart you are, right? You're either willfully ignorant or purposefully misleading the reader. How? We literally just went through the entire opinion piece by Austin Claypool. In what way did he mislead the reader? I've covered a lot of this drama in the past. A lot of that has happened over the last year and a half that I've been doing this show. That's all true. You can verify everything that was in there. Everything that was in there. In what way did Austin mischaracterize anything on the part of Jagmeet, Justin Trudeau, or Hasan Guantanamo Bay Piker? All of that was spot on. All of it. And you can actually fact check it. That's the other thing. You can actually fact check that. Let's continue. This brainlet continues and says, either way, this should have stayed in the drafts. Okay, but you literally presented no examples of how he was misleading anybody. What mischaracterizations? Those were all apt characterizations. What would it be a mischaracterization to identify Guantanamo Bay, the guy who supports 9/11, said that America deserved 9/11? Is it a mischaracterization to call him a communist streamer who says that America deserves 9/11? He admits to being a communist. He actually brags about being a communist. In fact, Hasan Piker might even take offense to that because he's like, wait, what do you mean mischaracterizations? I'm actually a communist, bro. You think I'm just joking? You think it's just a phase? Like, it's not a phase, mom. It's like that meme. No, it's not a phase, mom, of like the Assad apologist who's like 40 years old with like the death grip shirt and Assad is dad and the Sam Hyde poster in the background and like the Nazbol flag in his room. That guy, he's like, no, it's not a phase, mom. Like that's what Hasan would say. Well, no, it's not a phase. I'm an actual communist, bro. No. I'm pretty sure if Hasan were to read this, he'd be like, yes, like based, basically. Because he owns this. Like, he's proud of it. He's proud of it. He actually 100% thinks that America deserved 9/11. He's not shying away from that. He doubles down on that. So what do you mean? What do you mean mischaracterization? So, like, this guy's a dumb supporter. At least the honest supporters of Hasan would be like, they comment here like, well, he was right about 9/11 or something. Like, at least that would make sense that if they're a fan of Hasan, they would say that. This guy's trying to like downplay Hasan. Dude, Hasan doesn't downplay Hasan. What are you doing? This James guy is one of the dumbest people on the internet. What a loser. 0 likes. Yeah, no. There should be a dislike button on that. That would be my advice to the folks at the National Telegraph. So, wow. Wow. Stanley and Trevor are here. They say, here's a nickname for Michael Flynn. Fifth column Flynn. Oh, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I actually don't have that much else to add tonight. I mean, you know, this is less of a serious story than usual, but it is still kind of serious that the head of the NDP plays video games with a 9/11 supporter. That's kind of a scandal. We got one of Hasan's fans here. He's calling my ears big. Communism is base, dude. Not sure if this is a troll or a genuine Hasan Piker simp. I know that there are real Hasan Piker simps that have been in the chat before, you know, especially when Wyatt and I were dunking on Hasan and Hasan was like making fun of Wyatt's profile picture. When we can look at Hasan's profile picture and make fun of him. So it's classic projection. Yeah. You kinda cute. Dude, I simp so hard for Hasan. That's this guy saying here right now. Yeah, no, either a troll or a genuine brainlet. Either way, doesn't really matter. Hasan does have his supporters out there. We call those people fifth columns and useful idiots for a reason. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to Superpower Broadcasting this evening. I'm Kevin Castley. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so yet. I do daily streams, not weekly, not weekly, not bi-weekly, not a few times a week. Now, daily streams. And you can also follow me over on Twitch, and you can follow me over on Facebook. Additionally, if you would like to support my work here, you can check out my Patreon. The link is in the description below. That is patreon.com/superpowerbroadcasting. Once we hit $100 a month, and we're close, bro, I will begin rolling out daily pre-recorded videos premiering to YouTube in the early part of the day, in addition to the regular live streams, airing simultaneously to YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook in the evenings. So that's double the content. 14 videos on average per week instead of, 7 as we've been doing. We are, last I checked, earlier today, we were $19 a month away from that. Let's see where we're at now. Still $19 away. We're at $81 a month right now, so we're close. Over 4/5 the way there. And a huge shout out to all of the existing patrons of this channel. You guys rock. Stay golden. Keep on rocking in the free world. But to everybody else, if you can't make like a monthly commitment or anything, that's cool. You can also check out my PayPal. The link is in the description below. And you can send me a tip. I recently, in the last couple months, spent about $1,700 on new equipment for the channel, new computer and everything, and some lighting and stuff. So you guys have done an amazing job helping to offset most of the cost of that in the last couple months. I really appreciate that. And I'll say, like, I'm very grateful for that and everything. But we're just getting started. And we have a lot of brainlets to dunk on. We have a lot of work to do in order to actually wake people up to, defending our civilization, taking our civilization back, getting hawks in power, and promoting our interests abroad, and essentially undoing the damage that's been done throughout the era of cringe, so we can usher in the neoconservative renaissance, and we can actually start winning again, and we can make the whole world Western, right? So again, thanks for being here. I'll be back here tomorrow night. Until then, have a good evening, everybody. Peace, Warhawks. Stay based.